Okay, hello everyone. Yeah, I'm hoping that you kind of pay attention during this video because I have to move fast. All right, today we're looking at statistical studies and sampling methods. Why don't you take some notes? You can always stop the video and run it again. Okay. Guys, today's objective is to learn how to design a statistical study. All right, you're going to need to know that for the notes assessment. Guys, the essential question, again, you need to type this in to the assessment. What type of study and what sampling method should I use? This video, we're going to look at the sampling methods, okay? We're going to look at the studies in the other video. Sometimes we want to gather information about a large population, but boy, it's so hard to ask every single person, or it's too costly. It would take too long, too. All right, so what do? We take a sample of that population, just a part of the population. And sometimes the sample, in a way, it can be more accurate because it's hard to get a complete population sometimes. All right, so the sample can be a good way to do it. You have to be careful how you take the sample, okay? And we want it to be a good representation of the population we're interested in learning about. So we have to be careful because samples can vary. All right, and how well they truly reflect the entire population that we're trying to learn about. All right, sometimes our sample can be underrepresented or overrepresenting a certain part of the population. So it throws our sample off a little bit. That's known as a biased. And that's one of your vocabulary words today, I think. All right. It doesn't fully represent the population, all right, because it misrepresents a certain part of it. It over or underrepresents a certain part of the population. So what do? We use what's called a random sample. That helps us get a more accurate sample. All right, it can help us avoid bias when gathering the data. Now, y'all, this is important. All right, first there's three types of what's called simple random sampling methods: stratified, cluster, and systematic. Guys, stratified, we divide a population into groups of similar characteristics, like maybe by age, 50 and over, or, between 20 and 30, or something like that. And then you randomly sample from each of those groups. All right, cluster sampling is different. You divide it into kind of convenient clusters, like maybe you're a Walmart manager and you want to survey your employees about something. You might randomly pick 5 stores and then survey every employee in those 5 stores rather than sample every store. All right, systematic sampling is the third one. It's when you use a rule, like every third person that walks in, or every fourth person on my list, I'm going to call them. Something like that, where you use a rule. Those three help to make it random. You're using randomness there to get your sample, okay? Now, there's 2 types we have to be careful about. All right, because they have a high possibility of bias. The first one is called convenience sampling, where you're just sampling people who are like nearby you. Like asking your friends or the people that sit around you at lunch. Maybe you just ask your family members or the people who sit on the bus near you or something like that, okay? That is a bias. The other one is called self-selected sampling, and that's when you have volunteers, okay, like a suggestion box. When people are just simply volunteering, that can have a bias. All right, you want a random sample, not just people saying, I want to do it. Guys, that's some examples. Example A here. If we start with some random chosen ID number and then have a rule, like every fifth student ID number, see that rule right there? That's systematic sampling, okay? If this is a retailer, they're talking about putting feedback cards at the front of the store, and as anyone that wants to fill it out fills it out. That's self-selected. They volunteer to do that. They choose to be in the study themselves. It's not random. Okay? Example C down here. A city wants to know the percent of people in the entire city that own a dog or a cat. But in order to do that, they just sample around City Hall. All right, that's known as convenience sampling. They're not getting a complete picture of the entire population. Okay, that's examples. I put this on one page so you could see it. This is what you need to know. All right, in order to do well on that summary, the summary assessment. There's different types of studies. You need to recognize the type of study. All right? It's not a bunch of calculations here with this particular section. All right? It's about understanding the concepts. All right? Use this little chart right here. It might help you. All right? Guys, go ahead and fill out today's notes assignments and complete the summary. All right? Prepare for the Zoom vocabulary meeting that we'll have. All right? There's 5 words today. All right, this is all in the top green folder, and you're there right now if you're watching this video. Okay? Guys, I'm available for questions. You might not quite get this right away. It's okay. You guys, again, as you know, with me, you make mistakes is okay in this class. Just keep going, keep trying. Correct your mistakes. That's how you learn it. All right? There's a lot of information here. I'm going to back up. You need to know this right here. Okay? Some of you have realized in this class, I tell you, you need to know this. All right? All right, look at, for the most part, y'all are doing outstanding. Okay, I'll see you all in the Zoom meeting.